Okay. Look, guys, I have a lot to talk about. Where's my microphone? Is it plugged in? I can't hear me. Hello. Anyway, lots to talk about today. We've got post-apocalyptic, actually, we're not post, we got current apocalyptic weather sweeping the nation. Texas is about to get hit. At least that's what the shopping is about. I will never, ever, let me rant about this for a minute. I will never understand Texas and people in general, but I'll never understand the need to buy excessive everything. Example, by the way, this is the most appropriate shirt I could wear. My date of my choice. Yeah. Why was it blurry? There we go. Anyway, we'll talk about that too. But I'll never understand why people, mind you, the weather's not even going to hit till late Friday night. So I'm recording this. It's Tuesday. The weather's not even going to hit. Okay. We're preparing now, and I think preparation is good if you want to pick up some batteries, some firewood, a couple extra loaves of bread, maybe some extra snacks because you're not going to get out. And if the power goes out, you need some things, get some blankets, a case of water, things like that. But it's only going to be a couple days. But why are people buying? And I'm not lying to you when I say this. They are buying 3-4 things of milk. How much milk do you drink? Like, for real. What are you doing? Multiple frozen pizzas. Well, you're not going to eat those if the power goes out. Some people have generators. I get that. All this meat, and it's crazy. And the amount of alcohol, which thank God for. I'm glad they are. That helps me out. But the amount of alcohol is wild to me. Just calm down. People are just so nuts. And it's only going to get worse. But it happens every year. It's not Michigan. It's not -19. It happens every year in Texas for up to a week. And that's it. And then it's done, guys. And then it's over. So just calm down. Man, my voice. I'm also thinking about apartment life, because in a house you've got a lot more things that you have to think about. In an apartment, it's even if it's a big apartment, it's still compacted. You depending on where you are, your pipes might be okay. You should still drip water. But if something happens, God forbid, you don't want it to happen because it can ruin your stuff and all that. But it's the apartment's got to take care of it, not you. So I understand the house is a lot more. There's a lot more at stake. You own it, and that's a big deal. But then it got me thinking about apartment life in general. Man, my voice. And apartment life is wild, because there are certain times when you think about living in an apartment that it is beneficial. It's more beneficial than a house because, again, you don't even have to pay for light bulbs. I mean, yes, you're paying for them to some degree. Watch out, Resco. You're paying for them to some degree in your rent, but your light bulbs go out. If you don't have any on hand, you just put in a request. Toilet bowl, the little flap not working. It's a simple fix, but you don't pay for it. It does come out of your pocket. That is part of the apartment. You got a hole in the ceiling like I did. I don't pay for that. It's annoying, but the cost that it takes to properly fix that is a big deal, right? That's a big deal. I don't have to deal with it. Let me adjust this light just a little bit more. There you go. So that's kind of beneficial. And there's some pros and cons, but I think the biggest con, it's not that you don't own it. It's that the weird stuff that you encounter. And it's not to say you can't encounter that weird stuff in a home. but you encounter it because of the different people that live there, because the different people that live in the apartment complex. Wow, that's bright. There we go. It's crazy. And you see all these different stories about, apartment life and all that. And you got to deal with these weird things because you're in that close proximity. And I can tell you firsthand, I have seen some stuff in apartment life. I remember this was right after COVID, and I was in this one bedroom apartment with Luke. He was little, and we had the apartment was cool. You had a you had a front door that we probably never used, and you had a garage. So we had the garage. It's a big garage with storage. I loved it. Had the garage, went into the apartment up the stairs, and it kind of walked into the kitchen, big island, like lots of storage. The patio was small. The bedroom was pretty decent size. And then it went into like your closet and then the bathroom. It was cool. That garage was probably one of the highlights. Again, the patio was small. So when I would have my guys over and we'd be chilling on the patio, we'd all be kind of tight. It'd be like 4 of us on there. It's kind of tight, but it was still cool. And I remember there was this woman across, like diagonal from the apartments. Cute, like pretty woman, like beautiful, like she was cute. And I would say hi to her sometimes, and I would run into her and I'd say hi. And my boys were like, "Oh man, dude, you should just, go meet her and hang out." And I was like, I don't know. You never know. She's crazy. I didn't know if she was crazy or not. I had no idea. I don't like the sound of this. Hold on, guys. I didn't know if she was going to be like crazy or anything like that. And one night we were sitting out there drinking. And this is, these are guys that I've known for a while. And we're having our beers. And I look over and she's on the patio and she's getting loud. I thought she was on the phone. And I didn't know who. I thought maybe somebody was over. But she's talking about the racist world, and fair enough. But then she's talking about like how people are trying to hurt her. Like she's having a full-blown breakdown. She's in her bra and like shorts. And I'm like, God, she looks good, but she is crazy. And I'm not saying nothing. And she's like, you don't understand. You don't know what I'm going through. They're trying to put me down. And then she went inside, turned music up, like old school R&B, came out on the patio, full blown singing like Boys to Men and other stuff, bra out, boobs there and for everybody, which, thank you. Just, you guys don't. And then she's changing the lyrics and adding her own stuff like it's a concert, and she's feeling it. And this went on forever. Nobody called the cops. Nobody said anything. I just sat there like, what? Didn't say anything. I'm not getting involved. And then she started directing her dialogue and her words at us. Oh, you guys hear me? Come over here and I'll tell you more. And my buddy's like, you should go over there, dude. And I'm like, bro, no. This went on for like an hour. Then she went inside. And then immediately the next day, I wake up. And I don't say immediately, but I wake up. There's a moving truck there. And she's gone. She's gone. Within 24 hours, she dipped. And then there was an eviction notice on the door. And I'm like, so she just dipped. The eviction notice came after she didn't pay rent. So she just left the lease and straight up dipped. No sign of her. Not a clue what happened. Just had a complete mental breakdown. You might get that in apartment in subdivisions. You're definitely going to get that in apartment life. I remember one time I was at my buddy's apartment. He had this dump of apartment, but he paid nothing for it. And his apartment, like, it was big, but dude, it was a dump. Like, but that's just what he did, And we're partying there. It wasn't in the greatest neighborhood, but we're partying there. And I'm sitting on his patio, and he was on the first floor, which I told him was a mistake anyway. But he's on the first floor. I'm sitting on his patio, and I'm hanging out, Me and my buddy and his girlfriend, this girl I'm hanging out with, we're talking, we're chilling. They go inside. I'm making a phone call. Somebody sits next to me. I don't even know who it is. I turn and look and I'm like, who is this? I'm like, what are you doing, man? He's like, I was just seeing what you guys were doing. I'm just out here. Who are you? I was just passing through. I was like, did you know so-and-so? No, man, I was literally just passing through. Do you live in this apartment complex? No, I live like two apartment complexes over, but this is the easy way to get there. Seemed like you guys were cool. I'm just hanging out. I look at him. Dude's got 2 different shoes on. I don't think he's homeless. He could be. He's like, guys, got any beer? I'm like, nah, dude, you got to go. Well, come on, man. I just want to hang out. Well, that's great. You got to go. All right, man, whatever. Gets up, kept on walking. What? Who are you, bro? Like, who are you? Why are you? You're just going to sit here and just hang? Like, I'm not in college. I don't know who you are. I'm already in a sketchy neighborhood. And now I got some punky Brewster wants to sit down and just chill with me. No, I'm good. And that's apartment life where you get the weird situations. You get like that weird maintenance guy. You're like, I got to call Ralph the weirdo. And that's a real maintenance guy because I had him at one of my old apartments back in the day. They would always send this guy Ralph. He was an older dude. He wasn't like creepy pervy, but he was weird. You didn't want him to, they would always ask, do you want us to come in and fix this when you're not home? No, I don't. I want to be there. Because I don't know what you're going to do. Maybe you're smelling my sheets or you're trying my underwear on or something, you know? So I remember calling because I had this closet door that just would pop open all the time. And it got worse to where I would like kind of jam it shut, but then eventually it'd just be like full swing. And it's just annoying to wake up in the whole point of a closet is to like keep it closed. And like I'm sleeping in the middle of the night, I look over and I see the door just open, you know, like whatever. So they finally are like, well, do you want us to come in and fix it when you're not there? No, these are the days I'm here. Please call when you're coming. And they send Ralph. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to tell him what needs to be done. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to tell him what needs to be done. And then I'm going to go in the kitchen and just mess around. Maybe I get on the phone. I'm going to stay out of his realm so he doesn't have an opportunity to talk to me. Did not work. The minute he walks in, I tell him, hey, man, here's the door. Oh, yeah. You know, I was watching this documentary. What? So he's watching this documentary on the moon landing and how it's fake. Okay, here we go. And the reason it's fake is because we've been up there for years and we have a base, but we can't let people know that we have a base. And I'm like, well, then why is the moon landing fake even though we're up there? But they felt like if they made this moon landing so unrealistic, people would stop believing anything. So all the things that we see about the moon and craters and, you know, potential life, there's no life and all that, it's fake because nobody believes we ever went to the moon, even though we're using the moon as a launching pad to go to the next planet. I'm like, dude, fix my door. All right, that sounds good, Ralph. I go in the kitchen. Well, you know, in a door fix that took like 9 minutes, he's there an hour telling me about the moon. I'll tell you when I find out some more stuff, Brandon. No, it's okay, dude. I'm debating if I want to fix anything. Is there anything else you need me to do? No, we're good. Toilet's not running, leaky faucet, the fan's kind of wonky. I'm good. I can live with all that as long as I don't have to waste an hour and deal with Ralph. But that's like kind of the apartment life. That's the things that go on in apartments. Those are the things that happen in apartments. Just those weird moments, or sometimes all of a sudden, like you hear so much. You hear like the fighting and like, I've seen domestic stuff. We had a guy that used to deal, and he'd never leave his house. I mean, fair, right? If you're a dealer, fair. But he lived like on the back, like there was one building on the back, and he had a window, and it was ground level. So people would walk around, and he'd roll up the window. Deal. One day, there was so much snow in the back that however he got his word around, he told him to come to the other window. He wouldn't answer the back because he didn't want people walking in the back, the snow and all that. So we saw him dealing. I sat there. I was in this little kind of common area. Me and this girl, we were drinking a little bit, hanging out. And I'm watching and I'm telling her, I'm like, dude, he's dealing out the front. I'm not kidding when I say we counted 37 people in like 45 minutes to an hour come by. Just roll up the window. Walk. When I tell you that the police drove through there and saw the same thing and didn't question anything, didn't shine a light, nothing, just went, circled out. I'm like, well, okay. It was a game. How many people are going to come this time? What's the over under? We start placing bets. So he would bounce between the. I never saw his full body. I barely saw his face. I see him. I mean, I could tell he'd have a hoodie on or a beanie or maybe a hat, a t-shirt. I never left. I don't know. I'm not even sure he had legs. I never saw anybody go in. I never saw pizza delivery. I just know he was dealing. I don't know what was happening. He was there. I was in that apartment complex for 2 years, man, before they sold it and jacked the rent up like $500. It was years ago, guys. It was back in Michigan. Just wild stuff. And you always wonder, like on a safety level, people are like, man, I like first floor. And I'm like, I understand why you like first floor because you don't want to like walk upstairs and deal with all that. But first floor is a lot noisier. You got somebody above you, and hopefully they're not garbage, and hopefully everything's, there's enough between the two floors, some space and padding and cement that you're not hearing these elephants. It's also more accessible for thieves, okay, to break in on the first floor. Number two, pests, rodents, and all typical first floor. You're on like the second floor, it's minimalized. Not to say people can't break in, but you're sandwiched, right? You got the person above you and below you, and you could, which is whatever, but you got somebody above you. You're on the third floor. Heat rises, so that's cool. Sucks in the summer. Least likely to get broken into for the most part. Less rodents, not saying it's impossible. Less noise, better views, more expensive. Third floor is typically more expensive. The middle floor is the one that's less desirable because, yes, it's a little bit elevated, but you got somebody, it's literally almost cheaper than the first floor. At times, it depends on what apartment complexes you go to. I have always lived on the first floor or the third. One time I lived on the second floor in an apartment, but there was only 2 floors. I've never really lived in the middle floor of an apartment. And I've always been like, I wonder how the people are there. Do they hear me and Luke like running around like crazy? I barely hear anybody. Sometimes I do, and I can't tell what apartment they're coming from. I have heard the TV on so loud late at night at like 1 a.m, and it's not even like a show. It's not like they're binge watching Friends or Stranger Things. It's almost like it might not even be the TV. It could be like a book on tape. It's an audio. It sounds like Charlie Brown. It's like wah 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 wah. And I've heard that so loud before, and I'm like, it's not the person right next to me, and I only have one right next to me. I actually think it's below me, but I can't figure it out, and I want to complain because it's actually kept me up. I'm like, what are you doing watching, listening to this at 4 a.m.? And it's literally on repeat. I want to know what it is. It's weird. It's not like they're gaming. It's not like they're deep into a movie. They work overnights and they're like, hey, I want to watch this loud movie. It's not like they got a great surround sound. I would almost understand if it was a party, but it's this Charlie Brown wonky noise. And I'm like, what is that? And luckily it's only happened when Luke's not here. But he's such a sound sleeper anyway. Genuinely, we've had a pretty quiet apartment. I've had louder noise when I've been at houses. So, I mean, that's the truth. Especially when I was living off Main Street in Frisco. I mean, that was just like city life. It was loud. There was always something going on. You know, the bars were down there and all that. But apartments can be weird, man. They can have some weird things happen to you in apartments, and you can just see some wild stuff. But I think there's something to it. And I mean, they're outrageously priced now. But I think there's some interesting things that go on. And I think there's some really funny stuff that happens. So, guys, I'm going to go, though, because I'm tired. I had a much better podcast. More stories to tell. But I got to be honest with you. Social media has got me exhausted lately. Doing it, recording, everything has got me exhausted lately. The way they're paying out, this whole thing with TikTok, by the time you guys see this, TikTok will essentially be a completely different app. And some of it's already happened. The government, the American government, it was never about China. It was never about our safety. It was never about we're protecting your data. They want our data more than ever. They want to target the ads more than ever. They want to geo-track more than ever. And the people that are involved in this TikTok purchase deal, whatever, even though ByteDance is going to own still like 19%, if you Google and find out who's involved behind it, it is so obvious what's happening. And they will suppress and they will stop paying the content creators the way they are, especially the ones that aren't playing the game. It's already changed. If I get 100,000 views, I'm making like 2 cents. There's product promotion opportunities, but now they're tacking on an increased rate. You can promote this product and the seller is going to pay you this, but TikTok's going to take this just because you're on their app. And we already know what Zuckerberg has done with his way he's handled content creators and stuff. It's really sad on what we're seeing because the algorithm was so important and it's being retrained. It's being repurposed. We will start to see the censorship more so than ever. I'm running into massive errors when I'm talking about movies on TikTok. So I'm just getting very frustrated and exhausting. I won't quit because I need the voice to be heard. I need the moments where I stick my 2 middle fingers in the air and I can talk trash about the government and TikTok and all that. I need that moment. I think if we quit, it almost just shows them that we don't care. So I would rather be banned. I'd rather be banned from TikTok by saying something they don't want me to say than just quit. But that being said, it's been really exhausting to do these podcasts lately. I have 2 more recorded. There's a lot of things going on in the process of getting a new car. I know work has been exhausting this week. I have to go help with a grand opening at a new store very soon. And then it's like I have all these things that are coming up faster than I want. And I'm exhausted. And then you just get frustrated because of the way that they're censoring everything and kind of feeding out to the masses and what they're controlling back. It's exhausting. My studio's not done yet. I did post 2 pictures, so check it out. But I'm taking a time out because I have too much to go on right now. So anyway, next week, much better show. It was pre-recorded already, so don't worry about it. I do have a special guest going on. Nick Luck and I are going to dive into some really cool things coming up. On the Marvel side, we've got a Star Wars conversation happening. So yeah. But anyway, just wanted to talk a little bit about apartments, and I'll see you guys next time.